Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol battle report for the channel. Today we have a 16 threat match between the Defenders and Wakanda, a few of which have upgraded character cards from the card pack 2022, although it's mostly just kind of adding throw limits or size limits to throws and pushes and stuff like that, more so than significant changes. Either way though, despite being a relatively low threat amount, there is 5 miniatures on each side, so let's take a look at the two teams. So Wakanda is of course being led by the Black Panther T'Challa, with his affiliation bonus, being joined by Okoye and Shuri as normal, and bringing along Killmonger, who is in the affiliation, and then also the Winter Soldier, who can count as the affiliation, and he kind of has a MCU connection to them as well, with being the White Wolf, etc. And their tactics cards are Medpack, Usurp the Throne, Advanced R&D, Wakanda Forever, and Vibranium Shielding. And here we have the Defenders being led by Doctor Strange, joined by Wong. We have Iron Fist, Valkyrie, and of course Hawkeye, the ubiquitous Hawkeye. Fit him in wherever you can, he usually does very well. And their tactics cards, Pentagram of Farala, Reversal, Sacrifice, also Advanced R&D, and 7 Sons of Cinnabus. And here are the two Crisis cards that were selected, both low value this time, but it was the Secure the 16 threat that was picked to make the two Crisis teams. It's the Missing Witnesses, as Mirror Fisk tries to find them on either flank of Setup C. 2 victory points if you secure one, and in the cleanup phase they can move and they do 1 damage and stun anyone within 1 of where they end up. The other mission though, the Extraction, Munich Extremist targets US Senators, so that's the randomly selected safe houses, one of which is the Senator. 2 victory points if you have him, and if you are holding the Senator, you move small and you roll 1 less defense die, which is pretty nasty. They both use the same setup. They are going across the table, but there is a safe house in the middle, on either flank as well, around there, and there's witnesses under that one, and that one right there. So we'll get both sides set up and be back at deployment. And here we are with deployment done. The Defenders are to your left and will be taking first activation. No passes or anything, at least to start with, because again, both sides have the same number of people. Wakanda to your left. Let's take a look at Wakanda first. We have the Winter Soldier right on the edge of the table right here. Killmonger, T'Challa, and then Okoye and Shuri up here. They're just going to be able to hop over that banister without hindrances. They're just for set dressing because they are, it's less large than them. I was going to say less small. That's exactly the opposite of what I wanted to say. Valkyrie down here with Hawkeye. We have Doctor Strange on his lonesome in the middle here, ready to kind of pull off in whichever way he needs to go. And then Wong is over here with Iron Fist, eyeing up that flank right there. So, let's get the game started. So it was the good Doctor who got the game started, just moving up twice and paying 1 power to try and interact with that awkward middle potential safe house. Do not know whether or not it is the Senator yet. We're going to see live. Is it? No, it is not. So he's on one of the flanks. He's either hiding next to that witness or hiding next to this witness. Well, it's a 50-50 gamble, and it was Okoye who's going to step up and move over here twice to get just within one of both the witness and the safe house. Again, they're supposed to be on top of each other, but they're just slightly askew, so we know they're both there. Did she, upon paying 1 power, find the Senator? No. Well, now we know where he is. He is for sure right there. Well, we already know what's going to happen, but the person who decided to do it was Valkyrie, because she probably has more survivability than Hawkeye. So she moved up, she's paid 1 of her 2 power from being an Asgardian. She's finding the Senator, we know this to be true. There it is, right there, so she is now holding the Senator. And she does lose 1 defense die when she gets attacked, but that would have been a lot worse for Hawkeye, especially if an energy attack came his way. And she is also contesting the witness there. Bucky moved up in an effort to take some shots at Valkyrie and managed to entirely whiff. His first roll was 3 blanks and 1 shield, which is not what you want to be rolling if you're trying to do someone an injury. Wong activated and immediately meditated to gain 1 power, then he just moved for his other action, medium, and positioned himself such that hopefully if he gets pushed by Shuri, he'll just hit into a barrier rather, and won't get moved that far. Killmonger activated, moved medium for his first action, didn't have the power obviously to do a charge, so then just also moved again to contest the witness over here, but stayed a little bit back from Valkyrie just so he was out of line of sight of Hawkeye from where he is. Well, in order to force Shuri to make a choice, Iron Fist activated, moved up twice, and is contesting the witness that Okoye is trying to control. T'Challa, Black Panther, activated. He was in the ruins of that building there. He is the only long move on the table. I think literally everyone else is medium. Either way, that gave him enough that he could double move all the way down here and is basically standing on the witness, rude, but is also helping Killmonger claim it. And it's over to Hawkeye to be the final activation for the defenders, and then back over to Shuri to end the turn on. Hawkeye moved up on top of the crates here and took some shots into T'Challa. All said and done, changing it to energy, but T'Challa gets to count blanks if it's physical or energy regardless. He managed to do a 1 damage. No wilds for any stats conditions or anything like that. Now, doing that 1 damage meant that he did have enough. He could have spent 2 on Hook Arrow, which would have put him over here to contest, meaning that nobody's going to score this turn. He opted not to do that because if he goes in there, he's just going to get ganked next turn. And the thinking is, if Wakanda scores that, then defenders get to move it, can move it a little bit to the north, hit both T'Challa and Killmonger, deal some damage to them, and set them up a little bit better for next turn by moving the witness that direction. Valkyrie can run away this direction with the Senator, and Doctor Strange can come down and help from behind. That's the plan, and that's why he didn't Hook Arrow. So already the first activation of Battle Round 1, Shuri hopped the banister with 1 medium move, ended up roughly there, then used her range 4, 5, Panther Gauntlets 5, either way, definitely in range to hit Iron Fist, which is what she did. Managed to push him back down to there and do the 1 set damage it does as long as you beat the defense roll. It's just as well it gets reduced down to 1 damage because Iron Fist whiffed his block, and if it had done normal damage rather than being reduced down to 1, he would have taken 5 damage and I think been instantly dazed. Yeah, so swings and roundabouts. So at the end of Battle Round 1 we've moved around the witnesses and dealt out the damage and stuns for that we'll cover in a second, but first the scores. The defenders only scored 2 for holding on to the Senator with Valkyrie and did nothing else. Wakanda controls both the missing witnesses that Mayor Fisk is looking for a total of 4 victory points, putting them 2 ahead as we go into round 2, but the defenders are still getting first activation. So this witness down here got moved as far as possible in that direction while still being within 1 of T'Challa, and he and Killmonger both took 1 damage and stunned. And then over here this one was moved in a similar way so that Shuri would also get caught by it for 1 damage and a stun applied there. So 4 out of the 5 in Wakanda are now stunned as we go into Battle Round 2. So it was Valkyrie who got Battle Round 2 started by doing a basic strike on Black Panther. His defense roll was really good though, only 1 damage got through against him. She then spent 3 power on Asgardian Might to pick up Killmonger and chuck him small. Threw him into the ladder that was there. It got destroyed because it was smaller than him, but did deal 1 damage from the impact. For her other actual action, she wanted to run away a little bit. Her movement speed is reduced to small for holding the Senator though, so that's about as far as she could make it. She couldn't fit round the corner there, it was a bit awkward, so she's just moving next to Hawkeye right there. So we're sticking down here because for Wakanda it was the Black Panther who activated, and he spent 2 on pounds to launch himself into Valkyrie, and she whiffed her defense roll, and it was 1 less defense because it does state defense rolls and dodge rolls for the Senator, applying that -1 die. She took 3 damage, took full damage from it. Then Wakanda Forever was played, but we'll cover that in a second. T'Challa did his basic strike on her, it did 4 damage, it needed to do 3, so Valkyrie is dazed, and she dropped the Senator. T'Challa paid 1 to pick it up, and is now holding it, although he is also injured as well. Like, Hawkeye could take him out. Yeah, he's on 3 damage. But for Wakanda Forever, Wakanda characters spend 1 to play the card. Shuri and Okoye both decided to get in on the free 0 cost attack. A Spear Blast, Vibranium Spear Blast from Okoye into Iron Fist resulted in a mighty 1 damage. Shuri used her Panther Gauntlets to try and shove Wong back and actually did nothing. She rolled 6 attack dice for that and still managed to do nothing. She also paid 1 to get 1 die reroll and still did nothing. Hawkeye activated, and despite only doing attacks that are free, he did end up using up all his power. He launched arrows directly into T'Challa's face twice. The first one did 2, also did 2 stats effects. They're not there now because of what happened, but he was shocked and poisoned. As I say, like, the shock mattered, but not the poison. The second set of shots also did 2, which was enough that T'Challa is dazed. He dropped the Senator he just recently picked up. Hawkeye paid 1 to pick it up, 2 to hook arrow away, because he'd done 2 actions. Right smack dab there. He had 2 power left, which he then siphoned out of himself by playing Advanced R&D. He gave 1 to Doctor Strange and 1 to Iron Fist. So unfortunately for Hawkeye, due to a little bit of misplacement from where he ended up after his hook arrow, a medium move round the truck here by Killmonger did put Killmonger within range 2 to do his basic, I think, Vibranium sword. It's a 5 dice energy. Hawkeye doesn't like energy attacks in general for some reason. Never fully understood that. But because he's holding the Senator, he's rolling a mighty 1 defense die, and as a result took 3 damage from it, leaving him on 2 health, I think, but hurt him pretty bad. Well, it was time for the Iron Fist to do his thing. He started with a flying kick, didn't expect it to do much damage, just did it because he wanted the 1 guaranteed power and the place within 1 that it gives him, so that he could move up to the objective and within 1 of Okoye, who he did it on. Actually hit her for 3 damage. Did really well. He then unleashed the full power of the Iron Fist on poor Shuri. 5 damage, instant daze. She is not getting a turn. Would have given her an activate token anyway, so either way. But before damage is dealt, it also does 1 damage to other enemy characters within 1. So Okoye takes that 1 damage and also dazes. So Iron Fist managed to get a double daze and is now the sole holder of that witness back there. Well, Wakanda is just down to the Winter Soldier, so a pass was used, in which case for the defenders, Wong activated. He moved up medium just to help control the witness that Iron Fist has over here, but he spent 1 on Vishanti's Blessing to heal Iron Fist back to full health because it heals 2. Well, in order to score some points this round, Bucky activated moved but stayed within 1 of the witness on this side of the table just to secure those 2 victory points. Well, potentially. Doctor Strange still has to go, and he could feasibly get there because he can fly. They would put him amongst the enemy for next turn, so I guess it's just, is it worth it? The decision was made and point denial was picked. Double medium move. First one got him to the far side of the truck, so he could easily just float on over and as a result contest Bucky for the witness over here. So no one's going to score that, but we can cover that properly in the recap because we're already at the end of Battle Round 2 thanks to Okoye and Shuri getting dazed before having turns. So at the end of a very quick Battle Round 2, Wakanda did not shift at all. We didn't have the Senator and they didn't control any of the witnesses. The defenders, on the other hand, they had the Senator for 2. They have the far witness at the top end of the table there for 2, so they gained 4, taking them to 6. Wakanda stayed on 4. Wakanda, however, did also take priority now, so they'll be getting first activation in Battle Round 3. The witness doesn't move at all if it's a draw. It just stays where it is, so Doctor Strange and Bucky have taken 1 damage and been stunned over here. And over here, in hindsight, it was stupid putting Wong within 1 of that witness. Didn't even need to get moved, and it happens in the cleanup phase, so Okoye is not in any danger. So Iron Fist and Wong, 1 damage each as well, and also stunned. And with that, we can go into Battle Round 3. So the first activation of Battle Round 3 for Wakanda was the Black Panther himself. He moved up medium, then paid 2 to pounce by chucking himself into Hawkeye. Just needed to do 1 damage, actually did 2 from the impact of throwing himself. He doesn't suffer anything from the collision though. So Hawkeye is dazed. He paid the last power he had to pick up the Senator, which reduces his movement to small, and then he moved up over there amongst friends. Iron Fist was first up for the defenders, did his basic 5 dice energy strike into Okoye, and her Dora Milaje reroll saved her from taking 3 damage from that. She took 2, and it also helped her make sure she took 0 from the second attempt he did to damage her with that. So she's alive on 2 HP. Well, fearing that the Spectre of Death looms upon her, Okoye activated and did 2 basic attacks into Wong. The first one did 2 damage against his 2 physical defense. The next one did 1. He already had 1 damage on him from being too close to the witness at the end of a turn, so that move was doubly stupid because it resulted in him being dazed. So he won't be getting an activation. Okoye then played the Wakandan Advanced R&D, so that's the card gone from both sides now. She paid 4 power, and she gave 1 to everybody else. A very angry Asgardian was up next for the defenders. She, by which I mean of course Valkyrie, she initiated a charge Dragon Fang for a total of 5 power, so a move and then her big 7 dice physical. Didn't get the flurry though. Did manage to do 3 damage to Bucky with it, so then she paid 3 for Asgardian Might to pick him up and chuck him into the corner of the building there, just so that the 1 damage would daze him for the turn. So we're sticking down here because Killmonger decided to go all out as well, starting with the play of Usurp the Throne, which matters a lot for his turn. He spends 3 to play it, and if he is attacking the person on the opposing side worth the most threat, he gets 2 dice to his attacks, and if he manages to daze or KO the target, he scores 2 VP for his team, and if there's a tie you can choose who is the target. Target had to be Doctor Strange because he's 5 threat. So, then he spent on a charge to come around the corner here and then did his Vibranium Weapons, 5 dice normally, up to 7 because of Usurp the Throne. Managed to do 2 damage, which is pretty good. Then he unleashed his big attack, which I'm blanking on the name of, but it's 7 dice physical, 2 dice added on for Usurp the Throne, 2 dice added on for Focused on the Kill, which means if he's attacking someone he's attacked already, he gets 2 more dice. Doctor Strange used Hogast's Holy Wisdom to buff his 3 defense dice up to 5, but that did not stop 4 damage getting through, so the good doctor is dazed, and Killmonger managed, it did cost him a lot of power, and he was only able to do all that because of the extra power he got from Okoye via advanced R&D incidentally, but he scored 2 VP, so those apply immediately, so they're now drawing with the defenders at 6 victory points apiece. So due to the amount of death and knockouts and whatnot on both sides, well no deaths, just dazes, but still, we're already down to the last activation of Battle Round 3. It was Shuri, and she just fired her Panther Gauntlets twice into Iron Fist, pushed him back, and managed to do the 1 flat damage it can do both times. So he took 2 damage, that's him up to 3 in total again now after 1 killed him earlier. But yeah, we're already up to the scoring because Bucky got dazed, Doctor Strange is dazed, everyone's dazed. So at the end of a very bloody Battle Round 3, the points are as thus. Wakanda has the Senator. T'Challa is holding him roughly in the middle of the map there for 2 victory points, and Shuri and Okoye are holding the Witness at the top there for another 2, giving them 4 more points and taking them up to 10. The defenders scored nothing. The majority is, when there's no majority here rather, because Valkyrie and Killmonger, actually, is Valkyrie on her flip? Yeah, she is, yeah. So it's a draw there thanks to Doctor Strange getting dazed, so neither of them scored that, so no movement there for the defenders at all. Valkyrie and Killmonger took 1 damage from the Witness kind of flailing around, and the same can be said for Okoye and Shuri up here. It did get moved ever so slightly to catch Shuri again, but yeah, so the defenders gained nothing, they're still stuck on 6. They do have first activation though as we go into Battle Round 4. Hawkeye got Battle Round 4 started and did not have good results. There haven't been any like super big spikes this match, but there has been a lot of disappointing below average rolls, and this was an example of that. 2 sets of 5 dice, trying to get some damage through on T'Challa. All said and done, 1 attack did 1 damage. Did manage to put the shock on him. That's probably not going to matter because I think he's going to run with the Senator rather than attack. But either way, that's all he managed to do. He then spent 2 on a hook arrow and managed to hook himself basically right on top of the poor Witness over here. He's on her shoulders, taking aim with the bow. Okoye is still dangerously close to being removed from the table, so she's taking advantage of still being alive and attacking Wong. She didn't do too well either though, that's kind of 2 bad rolls to start return, 1 for each side. She did her basic attack on Wong twice. First one did the first one did 0 damage, he fully blocked it on his 2 dice. The second one did 2 damage, putting him at half health. Well, if ever there was going to be a Defender's comeback moment, this was going to be it, because it was set up thanks to Hawkeye moving over there. Doctor Strange activated and could use 7 Sons of Cinnabus. Spent 3 power to do so, but you can only do it if there's 2 non-dazed allies within 2 of him, which is why Hawkeye moved over there. Gives him access to the Beam 5 8 dice energy that also sets the targets on fire with Incinerate if it does damage. He positioned the beam such that it actually missed Hawkeye but did catch the Winter Soldier and Killmonger. 5 damage to each of them. It was super consistent in regards to that. No Incinerate on Killmonger because he's dazed, so it doesn't matter. And Winter Soldier, he was incinerated, didn't get finished off by it. He's got 6 health on his dazed side, so for Doctor Strange's other action he just did Bolts of Bedevilment, 5 dice energy, into the Winter Soldier. It did 3, only needed to do 1. The Winter Soldier is out of there. The White Wolf is gone. And now the only people holding this Witness over here, is these 3. Black Panther activated, and I'm not saying he abandoned Killmonger, but he did advance in the opposite direction as fast as he is able. Holding the center means he can only move small, so he did that twice. but that did put him in range to spend 2 on a pounce. He flung himself into Wong, 3 damage, more than enough. Wong is also off the table, leaving just Iron Fist over there on his own. It's actually over to him, actually no, or Valkyrie, although she's obviously way from where the fighting's happening. So Iron Fist activated and did a flying kick into Okoye again. 2 damage, only needed to do 1. So Okoye is also off the table. Now you'll see those dice lying there, that's the dice he rolled when he tried to do a basic chi strike into Shuri. 3 shields, a blank and a skull, aka nothing. I don't know what the statistics is on that, on the 5 dice, all being essentially useless, but it was not what he needed to see right there and then, that's for sure. Last activation for the defenders this turn. Valkyrie, she didn't really have much choice. She's got to get over there to chase down the Senator, otherwise they're just going to lose to the victory point creep. So she left those 2 to hold the witness there and hopefully take out Killmonger next turn, and just moved up medium twice, which put her basically smack dab in the middle of the map. And another turn for Wakanda ends with Shuri sitting where she is and firing her Panther gauntlets into Iron Fist. Got him with the first one, 1 flat damage. Pushed him back small. The second attempt to push him back even further into the corner there for another 1 damage, which would have, yeah, it would have stunned him. Didn't get him. He managed to block the less than stellar attack roll. And that does take us to cleanup for Battle Round 4. So at the end of Battle Round 4, both sides have suffered casualties, but how have the points changed? The defenders have managed to take control of this witness down here, but boy did it feel like they had to fight tooth and nail. They got 2 victory points for that though, taking them up to 8. Wakanda still hold the Senator. Black Panther is holding on to it for 2, and they're also holding on to the witness up there for another 2, so they gained 4. So this is where things get interesting. Also, the witness up there was moved in between to catch Shuri again. 1 damage to catch T'Challa. So 1 damage to each of them, and then this one obviously did 1 damage to Hawkeye and Doctor Strange as well. Here's the interesting thing though. Wakanda is ending the turn with 14 to go. 14 scored. So they have 2 to go. We're moving into turn 5. The defenders are going first. After the power phase, because I think he only needs 1 more power, Iron Fist is going to have enough to use the Iron Fist. If he takes out T'Challa, snatches the Senator. Oh, actually no, he wouldn't be able to snatch the Senator. He'd only be able to put it on the ground. Ah, that's interesting. But he needs to make sure T'Challa drops it, because I don't think anyone else can catch him. Valkyrie, maybe, but the Iron Fist is definitely going to have a higher probability of doing damage to him than just a charge attack. So it's going to be decided by Iron Fist and what happens after that with Shuri's turn, I think. So we're going to go into turn 5 and see what happens. So did Iron Fist pop off? Kinda not. He opened with a flying kick, both to get him into position, and it generates 1 flat power, so that would give him enough to pick up the Senator, all going well. And if he'd managed to take out Shuri, it would have been the swing they needed. Because if they just stifle the Wakandan ability to get any points, they'll win in the long run. Although granted, there's only this turn and 1 more left. So they would have to, well actually if they controlled all of them, if they got 6 over 2 turns, that would have given them enough, more than enough. But the flying kick did no damage. He used the Iron Fist on Black Panther, and it did 3 damage, leaving him on 1 health. Now, he should have an activated token, and that's important. He doesn't get a turn, which means Valkyrie can catch him. But Shuri still gets to go as well. And if she is able to push Danny off the point there, that would mean Valkyrie has to 1. Take out Black Panther, his 1 remaining HP, steal the Senator, and 2. Take out Shuri as well, or contest at the very least the witness, because otherwise it doesn't matter where the 2 points come from. If Wakanda gets 2 points anywhere, they win. Oh, here was a play that wasn't considered amongst all that talking just now. The Wakandan faction still had Medpack. So Shuri activated, spent 2 to heal Black Panther for 3, so that makes him more survivable now. He's got 4 health left, and might mean he takes enough hits from Valkyrie but still survives. And she also spent the other 2 powers she had on Vibranium Shielding, which she generates an aura bubble size 2. She and anyone within that range, when they suffer damage, it's reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1. For her first actual action, she fired her Panther Gauntlets into Danny, knocked him back short. 1 damage though meant that he's dazed. She then just moved to kind of block Valkyrie, so she can't get at T'Challa and the objective as easily. She'll probably, if she's got enough to charge, She does have enough to charge, but not Dragon Fang. So she is possible she could move, charge, and get round. But that's still only one attack, so at best she could hope to contest the Witness, but that wouldn't be enough. So it is going to be, does her basic strike do enough damage to take out Black Panther? That's always going to be down to. What happens over this end of the table does not matter. And that is going to be game right there. Valkyrie moved, she then did a charge basic strike on T'Challa, no damage through. He's counting blanks as successes because it's a physical attack. Doesn't matter, she didn't do anything to him at all. So there's no need to play it the rest of the round. As I said, they could murder Killmonger down here, Killmonger could murder them. It does not matter because they're now securing they're only getting the 2 points from T'Challa, but nobody can reach him because it's a draw on the Witness now between Shuri and Valkyrie. But she needed to deny both for there still to be a game. So let's just wrap this up officially. T'Challa has the Senator, scores 2 victory points, and takes Wakanda to the 16 required to win at the top of Battle Round 5. The Defenders made it a draw on the Witness at the top of the table, and if we count things just as they are, they would score 2 points down here for outnumbering Killmonger, putting them on a respectable 10. Not great, but kind of respectable. Wakanda definitely suffered more losses. They lost Okoye and the Winter Soldier. They were about to lose Shuri. Killmonger could have got ganked down there as well. So they were losing the fight, but they won the war. They won it on points, and that's, at the end of the day, what matters most. So, sincerely hope you enjoyed watching. Please do remember to subscribe if you want to see more in the future. And if you especially want to support the content we do on the channel here, consider becoming a member, pressing that thanks button, or checking out the Patreon if you'd like. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching though, and we'll see you next time. We'll see the Winter Guard on the table at some point in the future, and definitely Malekith as well. Until next time though, ta-ta for now.